For the most part, eh. There were a lot of good things with this movie, but there were also a lot of crappy things with this movie. The good parts consisted of having characters from the old Alice of Wonderland into kind of like an adult environment. I thought that was pretty good. The acting was really good in the movie, and also the graphics were really good in this movie too. The only thing I did not like when graphics-wise was the whole 3D effect. I do not like 3D movies. I don't like them. Now, there are a few reasons why I hate 3D movies. One, in a movie like this where there's a lot of moving around and a lot of colors and a lot of animation, it's really hard to also kind of keep in track of everything that's going on when everything is being popped up at you. I had to look away from the screen a couple of times during Alice in Wonderland for the simple fact that I just my eyes were going crazy. Two, every movie is now doing it and therefore it's getting played out. And lastly, it is by far one of the most uncomfortable feelings in the world to put glasses over glasses. Why don't you have contacts? Because I just don't. Shut up. Anyways, let's talk about the movie. I just want to say, if you did not see the movie yet, do not go into the movie thinking it's going to be like the old Disney Alice in Wonderland in cartoon, because it is nothing like that at all. Actually, it's pretty much like Alice in Wonderland on acid, but as you guys have already seen from the preview, you could probably tell. So the movie starts off with a very young Alice. She's about 5 or 6. She sees her dad talking to a bunch of group of guys inside a house. Alice says that she's having bad dreams, so her dad goes to put her into the bed, and she says to him, "Oh, you know, I'm dreaming of the blue caterpillar again, and I'm dreaming of the cat that smiles." And he's just letting her know that, you know, it's just a bad dream. She asks him, "Oh, am I crazy? Am I crazy?" And he's like, "No, you're not." Well, actually, he says, "Yeah, you're crazy, but you know, all the crazy people are good people." You know, and so she laughs, and then we get more 13 years later. So Alice is a very wealthy girl. She comes from a very rich family. Everyone's trying to get her to marry this guy who's of royalty, he's considered a lord. Alice is only like 19 years old, and she doesn't even want to marry him. You know, as you can tell already, the story is totally different from the actual Alice in Wonderland. Her and her mother are at this party, this very nice party where everybody's dressed up, and actually it's her engagement party that she wasn't aware of. Yes, Alice is getting married. As she sees a white rabbit, decides to follow this white rabbit, falls down this giant hole, which is similar to the old Alice in Wonderland. But like I said, don't compare it to that. I'm just doing that to show the difference. And she falls all the way down to this hole and goes into the room where she drinks a potion to go smaller, eats a candy to get bigger, goes back to drink a potion again to become smaller, and it's crazy. So she enters Wonderland, and all the creatures are like, "That's not Alice, that's not the Alice we know." And apparently Alice has been there before. And Alice doesn't recall ever being there because she thinks it's only a dream. She thinks she's dreaming everything that's going on right now. So Alice comes across this scroll, and this scroll says how everything is going to happen. It says that Alice is going to be looking at the scroll, and then she's going to be the one who slays this giant dragon called a Jabberwocky, I think that's how you pronounce it. Yes, the 19-year-old girl from London is going to slay a dragon. Yeah, okay there. So at that point right there, I'm just saying to myself, oh man, I'm not going to like this. And if I do like it, she better be some ninja warrior that kicks a major ass. So this guy comes down with a bunch of army red cards who has a little heart red patch on his eye, because I guess he lost his eye. I don't know if you know who he is. Crispin Glover, I believe that's who that is. He's the guy who, in Charlie's Angels, the guy who cuts off the hair and sniffs it. I don't know, he's a pretty good actor. He came down, he steals a scroll, and presents it to the giant-headed queen, who is also plays a really good part in this movie. So the queen, Helena Bonham Carter, who's also from Harry Potter, she's one of the bad, witches who escapes from Azkaban. She plays a really good part in this movie, like I said. She wants to find Alice and kill her before they kill their precious creature and then get taken over. So meanwhile, Alice and, Tweedledum and Tweedledee and all of them, they wind up getting captured, except Alice actually gets away, bumps into the Mad Hatter, who we know is Johnny Depp. And Johnny Depp, you have to consider him as one of the best actors of all time. He can play any part, plays a terrific Hatter. Now this Hatter, though, is very schizophrenic. He'll go on, he'll fight for what's right, which is good. But when he gets mad, You can tell he's getting frustrated and aggravated because black circles start forming around his eyes. It's actually really cool looking to watch. Also, I forgot to mention, there are a lot of new characters in this movie compared to like the old Alice. Like I said, I'm not trying to compare, but I'm just showing a difference. There's like a talking dog. There's a good like queen who's actually the Red Queen's sister. The Good Queen's Anne Hathaway. If you guys watch the movie, she has trouble putting down her arms. Her arms are always up, and it kind of annoyed the crap out of me a little bit. Yes, Alice, our champion, is here. Now you can defeat the dragon and save us all. But I can't do it myself because I don't harm anything. Plus, I can't hold a sword or shield with my arms in the air like this. Well, she doesn't actually say that, but I'm sure she was thinking it. Anyways, long story short, Alice gets convinced that she's not in a dream, that she is the chosen one to defeat this dragon, to save everybody, to get the peace in Wonderland, and then decides to actually fight this giant dragon, who, by the way, breathes out lightning, and is like 10,000 times bigger than her. So Alice steals the sword, which is the sword that would defeat this dragon. She winds up slaying the dragon by climbing up this spiral little tower thing that's outside, jumps on top of its neck, gets thrown up in the air, and then says the thing that the Red Queen always says, "Off with their head!" And she says that to the dragon, cuts the dragon's head off, keeps the peace in Wonderland. They exile the Red Queen. Now the White Queen, who was Anne Hathaway, is now the queen. It's pretty crazy. Now this is why I get upset with movies. You're trying to tell me that the dragon, who can breathe lightning, who is 10,000 times the size of Alice, really got outsmarted and outdone by a tiny little girl? Totally non-sexist remark, could have been a little boy too. Now this is a demonstration of what happened. Dragon, Alice. Yes, the potato head has a lightsaber. Alice decides to go fight the dragon. Dragon says, "I'm gonna get you," and bam, kills dragon. Yay for victory. Now what should have happened was that the dragon, 10,000 times bigger than the plate, nails and destroys Alice. No, it's not going to happen possible that Alice actually defeats this dragon, okay? It's bullcrap. So victory comes along, and Johnny Depp breakdances to celebrate. Are you serious? He's breakdancing? The lamest music I've ever heard in a movie. I couldn't help but laugh. I'm sorry. If you like that part, I'm sorry. So now it's time for Alice to go back. Alice is leaving. She says goodbye to everybody. She says, "Oh, I'll remember you guys. Don't worry, I'll come back soon." And, you know, the Hatter's like, "You're not going to remember any of us because you didn't remember last time." Yada, yada. She goes back. She's back where she got proposed to. Tells him that she can't marry him. Tells how everybody else's life should be and to live their life a certain way. You know, giving them guidance, giving them, you know, some good advice. And then the movie ends. Out of 5 stars, I'm sorry, I gotta give it in between a 2.5 and a 3. I didn't like the plot. I liked, like I said earlier, I liked the graphics. I liked how there were new characters. I liked the actors who were in it. But the story itself just didn't really add up for me. I'm sorry. Anyways, that's my review on Alice in Wonderland. Stay tuned for more movie reviews later in the future. Make sure you check out my Lost episodes. And thank you for tuning in, and I will talk to you guys later.